It's a miracle, baby.
Yeah.
Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves. Miracle, miracle, serves.
We keep having all these problems. How we gonna solve them? Every day it's the same thing. All these unsolved issues, I guess it's official. Here we go again, the same old thing. And I'm tired of arguing and lying. So goodbye.
Good morning, everybody. It's your girl, Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. It is June the 12th, 2024, and today the topic is It's Time. Happy Wednesday. Yes, happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful Tuesday. Mine was just fine. Yes, mine was good overall. I went out and handled my errand and whatnot, came on back home. I told you guys what was on my schedule for yesterday was to, one, have a meeting with Pastor Mo, and then two, to go to therapy. Well, only one of those things happened. The meeting with Pastor Mo ended up getting rescheduled, and I did go to therapy, and that went well. So shout out again to Mountain West Church, man, for providing this service for me to be able to go deeper, do something different, and to, I guess be held accountable and things of that nature. I mean, again, if y'all haven't tried therapy, I think you probably should. It has been something that I say has been beneficial for me and my family and everything. So just throwing it out there. Those were the main highlights from yesterday. NJ has still been dog sitting and everything like that. I guess it's going well. I know he was out there with her earlier and he brought her back in, and it's like, okay, so are y'all going to go back outside? Different stuff like that. But we'll see. We'll see. I will let him come and tell y'all how he feel about it, but maybe we'll save that for the after show. But anywho, and then actually this morning, I was up early, but I decided, I don't know, there's a few things. So I was distracted by NJ because he was talking about a lot of different stuff. And then I was talking to him about, the changes that are coming. We were also talking about, Father's Day and stuff like that. Because my husband, he's out there hustling in the streets right now. So, we were trying to talk about the Father's Day plans and whatnot. And so at some point I'm like, kid, okay, you be in this distraction right now. I hadn't done the juice yet, and you in here talking and stuff like that. You need to be outside playing with the dog. So by the time I did settle my heart and mind back down, because I listened to the prayer meditation, I did all of my normal stuff. But there was no particular topic on my heart and mind to talk about. But once I came back and was like, let me woosah, let me figure out what the Lord wants me to talk about. It's time came into my heart and mind, and it's like soon as I do it, one of the things that has been settling in my mind lately is I'll just grab my juice journal, and then grab my pen, and then I write the season we're on. I write the episode, which we're on season 13. Look, to God be the glory for that, man. We are on season 13, episode 36, of the 13th season of the Juice, y'all, man. Listen, I remember back when I was celebrating doing 10 episodes and stuff like that. And when I reached 100 episodes, and now, I don't even know exact the number. I know we're over 1,000 episodes with just the juice, but still, to God be the glory. That's an amazing thing all by itself. But anywho, so all I did was write that stuff down, and then I wrote down today's date. And then as soon as I wrote down that, I was like, so what we talking about today, Lord? And then It's Time came into my heart and mind, and I'm like, it's time. And And when I say something comes to my heart and mind, it's like this first thought of what, of the answer. You know what I'm saying? Like you ask a question of the Lord, and then you're like, that first thought that comes into your mind. That's what I mean. And so It's Time came into my heart and mind, and I almost brushed it off because it was just like this quick little thing. But then I was like, well, let me look it up. So I went over to OpenBible.info, plugged in It's Time. There was another phrase that I ended up plugging in because I was like, well, maybe if It's Time doesn't resonate, if verses don't resonate, then maybe I can look into something else, whatever the other phrase was. But I didn't even look at that at all. I just plugged into It's Time into OpenBible.info, and then there were verses that were standing out to me, so I just focused on that. So it's time, y'all. It is time. The more I was writing down the verses that was standing out to me, the more I felt like a lot of either conversations I've been having or just things I've been observing and stuff like that. It was all coming together for this conversation right now. So hopefully it will be encouraging and inspiring to you. So the first verse that I felt led to write down was 2 Corinthians 6:2. It says, "For he says, in a favorable time, I hasten to you, and in a day of salvation I have helped you." Oh, excuse me, I have listened to you. That's what it was. I was like, that's not hasten. Anyway, in a favorable time I have listened to you, and in a day of salvation I have helped you. Behold, now is the favorable time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. So that could be good news, bad news. I don't know, but I'm looking at it as some good news today. You know, I think a lot of times, and I think this is where things started to kind of click as to what to talk about today. But anyway, I feel like a lot of times we hold ourselves back, right? One thing I've been observing in my husband, I'm sorry, hubby, I got to put you out here, but you're part of the testimony, you know what I'm saying? But not just in him, but in people and even in myself over the years. So I'll just say it like that. This thing where we focus so much on tomorrow, right? We'll focus so much on the future to where we'll be stagnant in the present. I'm probably still guilty of this in a lot of ways, right? I'm not sitting here trying to act like I'm perfect about this or nothing, but the reason I bring up my husband is because we've been having different conversations and whatnot, and so I'm like, hey, so what about this? What about that? And he'll have all the reasons why this or that won't work, right? And I'm like, at the end of the day, we don't know whether this or that'll work, but my whole thing is, we can try, we can see, and see where it goes. But a lot of times we are like that, right? We will block it before it even happens, right? Even like today, sitting here thinking about with that first inkling that came into my heart and mind to say it's time, I could have just been like, nah, it ain't time. Nah, that ain't nothing from the Lord. Nah, I'm not going to look that up. And who knows, probably sat here and talked about something completely different today. But I think there's something what I was receiving this morning is there's something about the obedience, right? Something about saying yes when God says something to you and doing it and that type of thing. And so I guess, I don't know, I hope this encourages you, inspire you to understand, I guess, at least what I'm receiving today, that it is time. Like today is the day to make whatever decision it is, or to say yes, or to be obedient and things of that nature. Sure, there's a lot of things that I could sit here and give examples of, like ways that I guess do this well, and then the ways that I don't do this well. But I don't feel let it go too deep about that right now. But we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? But let me keep going with these verses. So Ephesians 5:15 and 17 says, "Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is." This stood out to me this morning when I saw it, because like when I came across again, when I felt it's time in my heart and mind, and I was looking into the verses and stuff like that, it's I guess one of my first questions for the Lord was like, it's time for what? You know what I'm saying? Like, well, it's time for what? And I guess, again, I think this is standing out to me because it's saying, again, we need to understand what the will of the Lord is. Sometimes we might think it's time for something that's not. It ain't time for it, right? Things always come together, but here it is. So, like right before I went live, I think like a few minutes before I went live, I was just scrolling on social media or whatever, or before I started doing the juice, right? Before I started to write down verses and stuff, I came across this post about a young man that is apparently made a diss track about his grandma. And I'm over, and I listened to the little piece that was getting shared, and I'm like, he was calling her out of her name. He even made like a threatening statement at the end. It was just like, this generation is on something totally different. Like, I just never even imagined to say such stuff. You know what I mean? So, especially about my grandparent, grandmother, things of that nature, the matriarch of the family. You got all this stuff to say. So that was quite interesting. But I guess that's standing out to me right now is that's the best use of his talent and time? make that diss track, or could it have been more beneficial to, I don't know, make something about the gospel? I don't know, make something about education, make something about, life and something like that. A lot of time we waste our time on things that aren't necessarily important. I guess that's what I'm receiving right now. Like, we waste our time on things that aren't beneficial, right? To ourselves or the kingdom or anything, right? And so, I hope that this is encouraging and inspiring, friends, because it's time, sure, and but it's best for us to figure out and seek the will of the Lord, right? Versus just going our own way. We see what going our own way can look like. Going our own way can have us out here making diss tracks about our grandma. You know what I'm saying? Going our own way can make us, sit here and be, doing and saying all kinds of things, right? So it's just one of those things to think about, that, again, not only that it's time, but to use make the best use of our time. And if you don't know what that is, let's seek the Lord so he can give us an answer. Give us, again, the clarity to understand what his will is. Let me give you guys this next verse, y'all. It's Proverbs 27:1. It says, "Do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring." This is reiterated in the Bible all the time. It talks to us about, focusing on today. Again, there's enough trouble for today than to sit here and think about the future and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, like, there's nothing wrong with having a good plan, goals, dreams, aspirations, things of that nature. I believe that all of that works together for the good of those that love God. Like, he'll give us all those type of skills to plan and all type of things, right? But at the end of the day, we don't know. We don't know. Like yesterday, I told you guys what was on the quote unquote plan for yesterday. But did everything happen according to plan for yesterday? No. Now, most of it happened, but not all. And so the thing is, a lot of times we got to go with the flow. I know we like to, there's this thing out there that talks about like free spirits, right? They talk about, oh, people that go with the flow and things of that nature. And people will make that seem like that's not a godly thing. Maybe going with the flow might not be, but going with God's flow can be. And again, I've been telling you guys how content I am these days. I'm like, hey, Lord, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. Now, sure, there's things I might be lackadaisical about and things like that, because it's like, ooh, I can take time, I'll do it later, but then there's certain things where I'm like, you know what, I feel like this inkling from the Lord to do this right now, or whatever the case may be. But regardless, the way, I know that, well, one thing is going according to God's plan. Two, I'm not going to sit here and worry and fret about things. At the end of the day, I'm learning, right, to be better about that. And so now I'm at this place of peace. Now I'm at this place where I can sit here and tell y'all almost every day, hey, y'all, I'm content with life. I'm just going with God's flow. And again, maybe I sound like one of those free spirit people that I was talking about a second ago, where you're like, oh, yeah. But I believe, again, there's something to be said about going with God. At the end of the day, he can give you that peace that surpasses all understanding when you're in alignment with him, his will, his way, and what he wants you to do. So you guys can go deeper about that. I didn't put any particular verses for the go deeper section because there were so many that were standing out to me. And also this thought that came to me as I was getting ready to write down the go deeper section information was to let you guys look at, just go to OpenBible.info and plug in the phrase, again, it's time. And then again, whatever the Lord points out to you, because there's some good things there. There might be some negative things there. But each and every one of us are on our own journey. And so you know what, and God knows, right, what he needs you to see and things like that. So let the Lord, lead. All I say, go to OpenBible.info, plug in that phrase, it's time. And whatever is standing out to you, that's what the Lord wants you to know about you, your life, and things of that nature. And that's ultimately the juice, y'all. That is the juice. Now, the Bible verse of today is Galatians 6:2. It says, bear ye one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspiration, the juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day. And I look forward to talking to you all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.
Did you know that you can support us for just 99 cents a month? That's right, friends. You can support everything that we do here at GSL for just 99 cents a month. Take a look around wherever this post is. You might see a link or maybe even a button that says support. Go there, check out the options, consider supporting us because, we enjoy bringing you all the daily inspiration as well as the weekly talk show, but we have much, much more to come. Thank you so much for the consideration. Bye-bye.